Big Tawada to Amma. Big Tawada to Abba. Max A to our creator, that is Hawa. Big Shalom, Max A to you. Just for simply tapping in to the frequency, to the vibration. That is what we call the wave. And I hope everyone is doing all right. I hope everyone is magnetic and charged up, no matter what the hijack is. In fact, if you experience some hijacks and turbulence, this right here is specifically just for you. Because you know how we do right here at the Naturalist. And as we are entering and observing and experiencing the supernaturalist, well, it's always our deliberate intent to charge you up, to charge up the Shabbatah Anion. So we gonna get to it, real ones. Let's go. Now, the last time we were together on this build, I was directing everyone's focus, everyone's attention and intention on to recognizing the magnet within you for those within the flow. Because we already know this ain't for everybody. Okay? This is specifically for the rare ones. Always has been, always will be. But we are talking about the magnet within you. And as there are magnets within you, magnet within us, well, what is it that you are truly attracting? How can we harness this attraction? Is there anything that we can do to harness and reshape and form such attraction? And as you know, surfing the wave, well, magnets attract. It's only natural. Okay? And when we're talking about natural functions were intended from the source, come from the creator, to do exactly what its function is. So I ask you, as a magnet, what is it that you are attracting? What are you building this attraction on? Because when you're in unison with your polarities, with your opposite, when you and your Merkaba flow, which we call the magic ether bus, well, you open up your fields, your portals to lead to such attraction. And I've been showing you the way, huh? So I'm asking, if you really been surfing a wave, what truly is it that you are attracting? Because that's how these fields work. When we're talking about energy fields, when we're talking about potential energy, when we're talking kinetic energy, well, along with a few others, we as Natural Bahawa, the natural ones, have been directing your focus on this intention specifically, and just how to do so. Telekinetic waves, as we observe the collapsing pattern, huh? So I ask, as a magnet, What are you attracting? Because with this attraction comes a law. And no, I'm not talking about the law of attraction. Although this falls into that. But when we're talking about manifestations, Max Eha to the Aki 5, and that's word to Hawaii. When we're talking manifestations, well, as a magnet, that's exactly what your purpose is, your function is. That's exactly what the intention is. Some say you are what you attract. I'm here to say otherwise. Although I believe to some degree you do attract what you are, there can be a hindrance, a jamming, a tweaking of sorts, an engineering, you know what I'm saying? A splicing. And without proper alignment, well, it's easy to fall into such a trap, a reoccurring cycle where the only thing you manifest is really the only thing that you think about. And if that has any relation to stress, well, if you aren't really in the wave, in alignment, connected to one's true self, one's higher self, it's gonna be quite hard to work through this. Because you got to keep in mind, magnetism is an aqua vibe, so-called aqua vibe. And if you still are finding it hard to tap into this flow, well, it's only going to get worse, I've told you. But we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on how to do so. How to rewrite the signatures, the signs to your mental capacity. We're going to show you how to surf the wave to draw exactly what you wish to manifest, what you should be attracting according to you, your potential. Okay? We just surfing the wave. And on to the rare one. We shall continue. See, as an active magnet, as one connected to the full capability of that current charge, well, you begin to tap into all possibilities. You begin to override and surf the wave on all potential energy fields they call portals. These portals are simply opportunities, possibilities. But this is all depending on the way you think and how it is that you think. Okay? And we're going to get exactly what we mean. Hey, see, to manifest is that which is clearly revealed to the eye or the understanding, open to view or comprehension. That which is evident or palatable, plainly apprehensible, clear, apparent, evident. All right, to be clearly revealed to the eye. Some might say that this is the art of searing. Some might say this is what it means to be a Dracon in itself entirely. That which is one of having vision, the ability, the capability to see what is clearly revealed, to have the understanding or open to the view of comprehension. So when we're talking about magnets and attracting that which we are trying to manifest, one must ask, what is clearly being revealed to the eye? What is one's true understanding? And is one open to the view or comprehension that is evident, clear, apparent? You know what I'm saying? Because when we're talking about magnetic fields, well, magnetic fields are created when you have a moving charge, like a bunch of similar so-called spinning electrons when you're dodging all hijacks. We know what oscillation is, right? But in a permanent magnet or current running through an electromagnet, any magnet has a dipole, which is a north and south pole, polarities, okay? But you see how this direct energy field, especially when you're looking at its possibility or its potential current, well, it makes out a spider, so to speak, right? I know I can see a spider form, insectoid of some sort. Specifically though, spider tarantula type. And picking up from where we last left off, this should be highlighting something very interesting. So when we're talking about magnets and their potential, when we're asking what it is that you are truly manifesting, what source of wata, inspiration, are you really holding forth to oneself? I've spoken on such things before, and I made mention, well, I carry myself as a person of honor. Honor leading to dignity. And it just so happens to be with this reputation of honor, it leads to honesty, or to be honest. And being that this is one of the centerpieces of my magnetism, well, it's only right that this very thing is a part of my magnetic field. When we're talking about the action of honoring or paying respect, the act or gesture displaying reverence or esteem, a state or condition inspiring respect, nobleness of character or manners, high station or rank, a mark of respect, esteem, source of glory, a cause of good reputation. It also has correlation to the feminine purity, a woman's chastity, which is always meant to be of one's high respect or esteem. We're talking about honor, respect. And Natural's been telling you about this vibe. See, they'll tell you it's of unknown origin. And you go ahead and start the wave on honest and honesty. But if this isn't one of the main elements to your magnetic, according to your field, right? So when we're talking about these potentials, these possibilities, this was introduced by way of this shift. And I told you that we was in this cosmic shift, huh? That is what is taking place, the dance, the ancient love song taking place in the cosmos. Cosmos, right? And when you're dodging all hijack, you're talking about the order, the good order, the orderly arrangement to dispose and prepare, but especially to order and arrange, to set troops for battle, as in an army in array, to establish a regime or even a government, a type of thinking, right? To deck, adorn, equip, and dress, especially of women. So there's no getting around this aqua vibe. And this aqua vibe is pouring straight out from the cosmos, man. Because this is a cosmic shift. And these are signs of the times as we tap in. But when you really surfing the wave and you're knowing that this is an aqua vibe and you're surfing the water of Amma, well, things began to become mighty interesting. Here we are looking at the horse nebula, okay? And as you can see, we are talking that fantastic wata. And as we're talking about this aqua vibration, this ancient vibration of Amma, well, it would help to know just exactly what time it is right about now, okay? And we're dodging all hijacks on time, but time itself originated within the wave, within the flow, within the wata, which is why we're looking at this horse nebula of the cosmos, okay? The heavenly arrangement, the starry firmament. The starry firmament. You know what I'm saying? An aqua starry firmament, well, it's always a wave. You know what I mean? And if you're really tapping in, well, you can see. So we're talking this horse nebula, because this is a cosmic shift. And when we're talking about horse, well, etymologically, aside from the genius of animal it is attributed to being, we're talking about that which is to run. Okay? To run. Now this makes me think of something else. But we're not going to tap into that just now, because when we're talking about to run, I want you to direct your focus, your intention on running yourself internally as a magnet. All right? And you got to be able to merge these polarities to become the Merkaba. So while we're on this magic ether bus, I want you to focus your intent on the horse nebula, that which is to run, like the wata, like that faucet, right? Like the flow that is you, to run, to flow. And since we're in the flow of this cosmic shift, one had to ask, well, what year is this under the Chinese New Year? And as we got, this is the year of the fire horse, that fire, right? and it's the year of the fire horse, which is from February 17th, 2026 until February 5th, 2027. And since this is for the rare ones, well, it will make no coincidence that this is a rare combination that occurs only every 60 years. This year symbolizes intense energy, rapid transformation, freedom, and passion. It is a powerful, fast-paced year favoring bold moves, with lucky numbers being 6, 8, and 9. Okay. Key aspects of the 2026 Fire Horse year is that which is represented through strength and speed, courage, and independence. Its energy is considered highly active, sometimes chaotic, and a transformative year. Okay. This is a major transformative period that encourages taking control of changes and fostering personal growth, which is why I had you focusing on to run, that which is to run the horse, learning to harness and take in and transform your flow to run it. Okay? To be connected to one's higher source. Alright, we're talking about an intense energy that can be thrown and put into rapid transformation. We're talking about your freedom, your liberation, driven with your passion, your talents, your divine spark as the natural rare ones. Halahuwa. Because when we're talking about this year of the horse, the fortune of personality, it says here is this year's zodiac and the 7th animal in the 12-year cycle of the Chinese zodiac signs, coming after the snake and before the goat. Alright. It is associated with the earthly branch. And that being any energy in reference to Amma as Mother Nature. And we got a whole Amma vibe with this year of the fire horse, which is the fire water. It says, according to Chinese astrology, horses confident, agreeable, and responsible. Although they tend to dislike being reined in by others, they're fit and intelligent, adoring physical and mental exertion. They're decisive, but also easily swayed and impatient, which is a time to tighten up, right? To run oneself, to be a ruler of oneself. Okay? It says in their zodiac year, horses experience highs and lows in love, work, and health. Breakthroughs are possible through persistence, while balanced self-care and steady finances ensure long-term success. Alright, so when you're manifesting and drawing in from these natural wonders, right? And when we're talking about things like elements, and as an elemental, you have to know how to harness these things that coincide and align with you. It says the Chinese 5 elements theories assigns one of the 5 elements, metal, water, wood, fire, and earth, to each year in addition to the zodiacs. So horses born in different years will have different personalities or elements. All right. And as a magnet, what elements, what energies, what waters are you attracting? This is the year of the horse. We are still talking cosmic shifts. The starry firmament, the decoration, the cosmetic of the cosmos. This is the ancient love song, the sweet dance, And when we're surfing the wave on our ancient language, on our ancient frequency, oath, sounding like oath, right? Oath. Probably from ooth, which is a consent and agreement. That which is properly to come, to assent, consent. To agree, consent. So this being an agreement of Hawa, of the creator of the source, which left this oath, this covenant, this promise, as signs, as signals, a distinguishing mark, a banner, a remembrance, a miraculous sign, to what some hijacks may refer to as omens, or even warnings, a token, an ensign, a standard, a miracle, a proof. This is a signal, literally or figuratively, as a flag, a beacon, a monument, a prodigy of evidence, a mark, a miracle. So when we're talking about this cosmic shift, and when we're talking about to order and arrange troops for battle, to set in an army in array, to establish a government of mind, to be of this like mind consciousness, this regime, which is an aqua vibration energy. We do this for Ama, our Hawa, Allahua. And we take these signs, right? These signals, as in the year of the horse, right? The Chinese New Year, being that when this constellation takes place, according to the zodiac, which are the signs, the signals, the starry firmament, which also includes the earth, as we got, this was an earthly energy. So if this is a sign, a signal, a distinguishing mark, a remembrance, a banner from Hawa, Allahua, well, as a magnet, what is your possibilities, What are you in attunement with, alignment with? And what are you drawn in for your manifestation as a magnet? Because I've been directing your intention, your exact focus for such things, realizing that I was a magnet, that we are magnets. I'm going to pull you to this frequency, to this flow, right through the ether, just like a rare one's supposed to. So when we're talking about frequency and potential energies, what are we attracting truly to oneself? And is the polarity, the current, truly aligned with that which is divine? With the magnetite being the actual crystal magnets within the brain, it was intended directly from source, from the creator, that such things be a part of your capability, your function, which is natural. Okay? So standing strong in your frequency and your charge. What are you manifesting? What are you attracting to oneself? What are you creating within your function? Okay? Because if we're talking signs and signals, distinguishing marks, miraculous signs of the sort, if we're talking the proof, where'd it go? Let's get that back. So if we're talking a sign, a military ensign, a sign of something that has passed, and specifically that of each particular tribe, when we're talking about this military ensign, something of future or important, right? Signs and wonders in Israel. All right? We're talking about this cosmic shift. So connecting that to the order of things, well, I was driven to ask about this connection between neurons, neutrinos, and stars. Neutrinos are nearly massless subatomic particles produced in vast quantities by nuclear fusion in stars, carrying away energy and acting as crucial messengers from stellar cores. During a supernova, neutrinos trigger the collapse of massive stars, leaving behind ultra-dense neutron stars, thus in turn emitting further neutrinos. And again, we just got the correlation between these signs of the times and elements. So if we're talking about elements upon the earth, well, such incidences and rare occurrences as supernovas, exploding stars, what some might call meteors, comets, shooting stars, dracons. Well, we're just talking about one of the many sources for such things, for such waves. Okay? So this is why I'm always talking this star power to you, this star talk to you. This is why we're on the magic ether bus, surfing that starry firmament. Okay? So since we're talking about all three things, they threw this little nearly massless subatomic particle at me. And well, you know, it's only right that I introduce you to a wave to let you in just a little bit on the way natural things. The way natural processes his downloads and triggers to such information as a wave, as a stream. Because there is no separation between us and our source. So I'm surfing the wave and I'm seeing this and I'm like, To those surfing the wave, it sounds a lot like what they refer to as ghost particles. And it says a ghost particle refers to the neutrino. Very interesting. Because we're talking about what neutrinos are, right? So it says it refers to the neutrino, a fundamental subatomic particle, nearly massless and electrically neutral. And electrically neutral. that rarely interacts, with matter, allowing it to pass through people, plants, unimpeded. Allowing it to pass through people and planets unimpeded, dodging all hijacks. Trillions stream through us every second, originating from the sun, cosmic rays, and supermassive black holes. Again, we're talking about ghost particles. And this is just the way natural things, It says, elusive nature. Neutrinos rarely interact with the matter due to their lack of charge and negligible mass, making them incredibly difficult to detect. They are also cosmic messengers because they do not interact with electromagnetic fields. They travel in straight lines from the most extreme, distant environments in the cosmos, such as exploding stars or so-called black holes. It says that they are often called ghostly because they are practically invisible and pass through solid matter as if it were not there. And your energy is said to do the same thing. So the fact that this passes through us each and every second, well, you have to start tapping into that communication. And I let you know in the last installment, through these stars, they infiltrate and pass messages through my neurons, And I tap into these neutrinos. We still talking star power. And this also made me think of ghost DNA. And I'm like, since we're talking ghost particles, well, what is this ghost DNA all about? And they say that this ghost DNA refers to genetic material found in modern human genomes. Very interesting. Modern human, right? Because it says particularly in West African populations that originate from an unknown extinct hominin species. And you got to be able to dodge your own hijack at this point. We too knee deep into the water for me to have to break something like this down. But it says, unlike Neanderthal or Denisovan DNA, this ancestral group has not been identified through fossils, leaving only ghostly traces in modern DNA. You see what's going on? It has not been identified through fossils. So what hominin species could they really be talking about? Because there are no fossils. But we can be talking about a star source. We're talking about ghost particles. That referring to a neutrino being a star. One of the many stars. And if this, through trillions of sources stream through us every second, well, when you're in alignment as the magnet you should be, your possibilities. You see what's going on? But this takes true soul searching, Shabbat. You can't just be verbally saying things. You gotta really be aligned, And I'm sure this will open discussions upon itself, but this is exactly what we're talking about. So for those that remember the way we did on the ghosts and the specters and the image of the sword, a ghost being a breath, good or bad spirit, a so-called angel or a demon, a person or a man, a human being. In biblical use, it is a soul, a spirit, life. You see what's going on? Life. So when you're talking about the so-called Holy Ghost, well, you don't know whether this is a good or a bad spirit, and being holy isn't one to determine such things. especially when under a spell, because you can get caught in the notions of excitement and amazement. And when that doesn't match what you have in mind, well, it develops fear, right? This wrath, this horrible, frightful feeling. But when you're really surfing the wave, you understand that the ghost is a supernatural being. You see what's going on? And like I told you, we were entering the supernaturalists as magnets. See, this is how we surf the wave on the ether bus, as magnets. Okay? So when we're talking about ghost DNA and ghost particles being that which is from the neutrino, because they are nearly massless. Okay? Massless. All right. So that made me think about one thing, right? If neutrinos don't have an electrical charge, what charge do they have? And it says neutrinos have zero electric charge. And that made me think of the good Ak, right? When it comes to this current. And it does not possess magnetic properties, setting them apart from other neutral particles like neutrons. Instead of electric charge, neutrinos possess other quantum properties, primarily a weak isospin, meaning that they interact only through the weak nuclear force and gravity. And you're just gonna have to, surf the wave a bit on this term, gravity. Because like I said, it was going to lead us there. But we're not going to get there quite yet. Okay? Because we're talking about a zero electric charge that is not influenced by electromagnetic fields. And when I was telling you about these fields, well, when we're dealing without electromagnetism, it's hard to create form. It's hard to shape and frame, which allows me to know and reason that all creation stems and takes place in this zero electric charge, which is the current. It doesn't yet have an electric or magnetic charge to it. I know it's saying a lot. But when we're talking about oscillation, these things are very, very key. All right. It says that they exist in 3 flavors. You see what's going on? Electron, muon, and what they call the tau, which is really our thaw, as in thawada. It says because they lack electrical charge and do not interact via the strong nuclear force, they can pass through normal matter almost entirely undisturbed. So this is the whole gas or ghostly particle to this, right? And this is how they keep one from not really tapping into this function. But like we told you, the tidal is in the wave, and the wave is measured by what they call time. And right now, it sounds and seems right on time for you to go ahead and pop off. Okay? How does 0 point energy relate to ether? And this is where we catch the hijack slipping. Okay? It says that this 0 point energy is often interpreted in modern unconventional physics as the modern counterpart to the classical concept of ether. Very interesting. Especially when we're talking about radiation in the source, right? While classical ether was a now discredited medium for light propagation, 0-point energy represents the scientifically verified non-zero quantum energy, or what they refer to as vacuum fluctuations, filling all space even at absolute zero. Keep this in mind. Vacuum fluctuation. Because to be in a vacuum is the same energy they try to compress and suppress you when it refers to black holes. But we know that black holes is really just, again, the cosmos, that of the aqua, the gaping. And it does not help your case that you also refer to it as the black hole. To not come from Aman, well, that's a whole other curse in itself. So when we're talking about these vacuum fluctuations, it says key connections and comparison. The new ether. Now get this. They're working on the new ether. Many theories suggest that the ZPE, which is 0-point energy, is the underlining sea of energy. You see what's going on? Sea of energy, often referred to as the quantum vacuum, acting as a modern energetic alternative to the old luminiferous ether. To the old. But, you know, this isn't about knick-knacking and fighting, throwing blows with the hijack. Nah, this is about allowing the expression, because this what we do right here together as a Shabbat, as a close-knit, this is personal, and this is art, and this expression, it has to be in its art form. So we allow the hijack to express themselves freely, because in that freedom, well, they also tell on themselves. It says, similar to the idea of ether, 0-point energy implies that empty space is not empty. See what's going on? But it's teeming with virtual particles constantly being created and annihilated, often described as quantum foam or a background medium. Now we got C right here. We got them saying that empty space is not empty. And we also got them saying it's described as quantum foam because of the virtual particles constantly being created and annihilated. And when we're talking about ghost particles, that which stream through us every second, originating from the sun, cosmic rays, and supermassive black holes. Well, this vacuum theory starts to gain a little bit of, some perspectives in quantum field theory view 0-point energy as the fundamental field or ether that gives rise to subatomic particles and their interactions. The ether giving shape, framing, mold, corporeal form from this 0-point energy. Again, we're talking about creation. Energy density, 0-point energy provides non-null energy level to the vacuum, which aligns with some interpretations of the early concepts of ether as an all-encompassing and energetic medium rather than a true void. While ZPE is generally accepted in quantum mechanics as the vacuum noise that causes fluctuations, it is not to be confused with the classical idea of an ether for light to travel through as mentioned in scientific discourse. And, I would see that if we're disconnecting the ether from the wata in itself to fluctuate. This quantum foam, this C. Again, when we were beginning earlier, we were talking about the wata, the flow, and that horse in this year of the horse, this Chinese zodiac. Well, we're talking about an intense and rapid transformation. a returning to freedom, shalom, liberation, a divine passion. And this is word to Aman, right? Because she brought this forth. Aman being born and created during this year of the horse. So I'm reminding you to run. To run. Okay? To run yourself, because this run also relates to what we refer to as chariot. Chariot, an ancient two-wheel vehicle, right? As it relates to car, which is to run. And your Merkaba, well, your Merkaba is said to be that exactly, Carl. I don't even think they got that in here, so we're going to keep that. But your Merkaba is a chariot, and your chariot being your magic ether buzz. It is to run. You see what's going on? That is our star vehicle. Our vehicle of ascension. So we're talking about chariot, which is to run being this horse energy, to run, to be able to run oneself, to be able to help oneself. Because they understand, hey, we can't totally disprove this ether, so we have to come up with a new one. But this is an ancient love song. This is the functioning of an ancient dance taking place. The rhythm and the alignment of the ancient energies. This cosmic shift of the starry firmament. The orderly good arrangement, Because when we're talking about stellar codes and these ghost particles which stream through us every second, neutrinos being that star, stellar cores, crucial messengers from stellar cores, we're talking about energy. Stellar codes, the Lyra Codex. You know we got to breathe some Daweed on you, but in proper context, as we've already surfed the wave. Just go and check it out, But peep this. It says that Cygnus is a northern constellation and is also known as the Northern Cross. Its name is the Latinized Hellenic, or Greek word for swan. Now surf that wave, right? It is one of the most recognizable constellations of the northern summer, of the northern summer and autumn. Cygnus is prominent asteroom of the even larger asteroom Lyra. Cygnus was among the 48 constellations listed by the 2nd century astronomer Ptolemy, and it remains one of the 88 modern constellations. The divine logos uses the heavens as his universal communication board. In many ancient texts, we see expressions of change and the signs of times expressed through references to the movement of stars and the sun and the moon. All right. They'll quote certain scriptures, as we'll see. And God said, let there be light in the expanse, the firmament of the sky, to separate the day from night. Let them serve as signs to mark seasons and days and years. And again, when we were surfing the wave on this oath, it was a sign, a signal, a distinguishing mark, a banner, a miraculous sign. A sign, a military ensign, a sign of something past, a sign of something future. They are the voices of this heavenly choir that sings the harmony of the spheres when you're dodging all hijacks and its multiple frequency signatures. These energetic signatures are what we call the stellar codes. And the attunement process harmonizes the individual's energetic template with these signatures. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to this magnetism. What signatures are you building on and attracting? The divine mind speaks through the language of the stars. Many times these syllables pass through our conscious mind and they are not perceived or understood. To comprehend the works and blessings from the divine mind, we first have to understand and relate the language he speaks. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth, the stress of nations with perplexity, and the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So these stars, right, being for signs of the times, along with the processions and the perplexity of the moon and the sun, as they say in the so-called New Test, right? Says one story tells us that Cygnus represents Orpheus, who was changed into a swan. Again, pay attention. At his death and placed beside his magic harp Lyra in the sky. The tail of the swan is marked by the bright star Deneb, Arabic for tail. We're gonna pick up on this, but pay attention to this tail drip that they're pointing out to us. In the next installment, we'll highlight that. 3 fainter stars cross the line between Deneb and the head of the swan, Albiro. Cygnus flies southward along the summer Milky Way and until the summer triangle. Cygnus is also sprinkled with a variety of nebulae, nebulas, including the North American Nebula and the Veil Nebula. Cygnus, together with other avian constellations near the summer solstice, Vulture, Cadence, and Aquilia, are a significant part of the origin of the myth of the Stymphalian birds, one of the 12 labors of Hercules. And you already know this 12 is automatically in connection to that which is of your ancient 12 tribes. But like I said, the hijack keeps us stored away and cut off at the 12 for another segment, though. In ancient times, Cygnus has known less accurately as the bird and variously associated with hens, pigeons, and eagles. Much of our understanding of the star comes from Roman mythology, where it is identified with the figure of a swan placed in the sky by Jupiter in gratitude for its form, which he took to seduce unsuspected Leda. Again, we're talking about this form and shape. Keep in mind what we mentioned. Menelaus claimed that from this constellation shall flow 1,000 human skills. You see what's going on? In modern times, we tend to identify these skills as aptitudes that can be developed and activated through specific processes of anchoring the syllables of the stars, along with the practice of specific zahanas or intunements or attunements. The objective is to awaken and weave a better connection with the different dimensions of our higher self, therefore expanding our levels of consciousness and capability to increase the coefficient for the absorption of light. And this is why I ask, what does it mean to be a magnet? And what are you manifesting? What are you attracting through these potential energy waves? Keep in mind, right? It says the object is to awaken and weave a better connection. weave a better connection with the different dimensions of our higher self. When we were talking about the new ether, they were using words like sea of energy. Sea of energy. They said that empty space is not empty, but it is teeming with virtual particles, ghost particles, star particles that stream, see what's going on? Stream through us every second. It is also seen as quantum foam. And it's quite interesting that foam is also correlated or related to this sea, as in sea foam. So they have a high understanding that we're talking about that wata. We're talking about that wata as the objective is to awaken and weave a better connection with the different dimensions of our higher self. And seeing as we started in the wata, well, it was only right that we bring this closing in the wata as well. When we're talking about the wave, it is to fluctuate, right? So they were saying that this fluctuation ZPE is generally accepted in quantum physics as the vacuum noise that causes fluctuations. Waves. We're talking about waves, right? So these fluctuations, these vacuum fluctuations, they're saying vacuum, we say wata, because it's the wave. We're talking about the wave. The waving is to fluctuate. The wavering. To move back and forth, that which is to weave. Okay? So to wave is to weave. And we're always talking the wata. We also see that the wave is of a flag or banner. Right, to shake and stream in the air, just like these ghost particles that stream through us every second, just like this oath that are signs or banners, signals, a distinguishing mark, a banner. So the wave is our banner. It is our sign, our signal, our mark. That Hawa is with us. And best believe I give big tawada to everyone a part of the wave. To everyone within the wave, within the flow. Because we are the wave, Allah Hawa. And I am thankful for everything brought in my way from the wave. Because it was within the wave that one found oneself. Once again. So to be within the wave is of the highest of honor, of the highest respect. And I'm thankful for everything that comes my way. Halakha. That is every super chat, every purchase, every view, every like, every subscription, every comment, every share, every hype. I understand, overstand that the wave is you. And without you, there's no me. And with this constant ahab, this constant charge, this current that is constantly building as cons between us of anion, well, I know what I'm building my magnetism in. I know where my flow is charged and rooted in, and it's with you, the rare ones, the rare ones of Hawaii, his chosen, selected. And oh, what a vibe this is, especially right now, to be alive within the charge, within the flow. And yes, I know, it can all change in an instant, which is why we give the highest, utmost, tawada, for every breath we draw. And with that being said, continue to look out for more drip, more wave on the way. We are just getting started again, Shabata, and oh, what a time it has been, and oh, what a time it will be. 'Cause I did this just to excite you. Ain't nobody like you. Never will they will be. For we are natural Bahuwa, the rare ones, the natural ones, the chosen as the restoration of Hawa's promise. And our time is right now. So big Tawada, Max Aha to everyone surfing the wave. And we will be back soon, real soon. Yeah.